Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. Hakuna Matata. Ain't no passing craze. It means no worries for the rest of your days. It's a problem free philosophy. Timon and Pumbaa, the television show.
Is that actually a line in it? Does it end on the television show?
No, I added in the television show. just I didn't want people getting confused.
We needed clarification.
Clearly. Oh dear.
Yeah, well, you don't want the audience going away going, why has he started doing Disney films now? He does Disney TV shows.
Intro to Lion King 4.
I didn't know there was a Lion King film.
I'm sure you can come up with the concept for it.
It may involve a safari.
It kind of already did. That was already the show.
Yeah, but if you actually watch some of the YouTube on the show looks god awful. In the intros, they've got Pumbaa dressed as Andy Warhol, and I think that kind of sums up where it's going creatively.
That's interesting. They were kind of just the side characters, so I was like, that was really not the format to take for a spin-off show, I guess, but I guess they made Joey into a TV show, so
Yeah, Joey was awesome.
everyone likes side characters, I guess. Well, yeah, okay, well, Joey as a character was awesome. I'm not quite so sure Joey the show was as awesome.
Joey the show was a horrible, horrible experiment that nobody ever talks about ever.
And there you go, Timon and Pumbaa. It's like, in the film, sure, okay, they're there, they're entertaining and whatnot. Does it need a TV show? Probably not.
There's someone in Disney felt otherwise.
Well, someone at Disney hired PewDiePie, so they've got terrible taste.
Oh,
Shots fired. I hear lawsuits.
Twitter wars are brewing.
I'm sorry, I've just lost us that contract I got last week to get us on the show with PewDiePie.
I am so gutted and disappointed.
You were really looking forward to that. I know you were.
Yeah, I was gonna Swedish it up with him. I was gonna bring him some meatballs.
He's good at Photoshop. That's all.
I don't know if he is, but okay. I will take your word on that.
Do the damn intro.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Button Mash Podcast. We talk about video games and video games accessories. We'll be here for a couple of hours, and we're going to be talking about our gaming experiences for the week, and we'll be doing some gaming news and the latest releases later on in the show. Our theme tune this week was some crap by Michael.
Hello, good to see you again.
I believe that
Shots
was.
fired.
I believe it was Timon and Pumbaa, the TV show, according to the song.
Well, yeah, otherwise I would have just been silly.
We're also joined this week by Will and Suneil.
Hiya.
Hello.
Suneil making his return from... I have no idea when he was last on the show. You were on at some point.
About 4 or 5 episodes ago. Even more.
I think it might have been longer than that. But yes, well, welcome back nonetheless.
It feels like we're all reunited.
Yay.
Let's all sing Kumbaya.
Let's sing Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. Come on, sing it with me.
Hakuna Matata. That's all you're
That's
getting
it.
out of us. That's your lot.
You know,
Next.
I can live with that.
Next verse is paid DLC.
Oh dear. Paid
Pumbaa
content.
Armor DLC.
It's already on the disc.
Sorry. Yeah. Get the season pass for Timon and Pumbaa.
I can't believe you would hawk our loyal fan base having to pay to watch content. I mean, who in their right mind would do, I don't know, like a YouTube series where you would have to pay to watch them play games? Just, it's insulting and disgusting.
I know, it's terrible. I mean, that's actually a feature YouTube rolled out this week as well. You can do that now. So, that's relevant news, I suppose. I don't know if it was this week, it was very, very recently anyway. I've seen some big YouTubers like this pop up with new channels and say, hey, I've got a second channel here, you got to pay to watch this one now. And it seems like a really silly feature, because also when I clicked on that channel, it was like, alright, I'm going to have a look at the channel, just see what it actually looks like. I'm not going to pay for it or anything. It was like, you're not allowed to pay for this because you're in the UK. I was like, okay, YouTube, fuck you. You don't get my money. You don't even want my money.
Well, I was trying to do a segue to your.
I know what you're trying to do. But
No, I'm really
I'm denying you
by
it.
this. I'm really intrigued by this.
Rejected.
Yeah, one of the guys I subscribe to on YouTube, BOO, he does a lot of Minecraft content, and he's like, oh, I'm going to do even more Minecraft content, but it's over here on a separate channel now. And I was like, okay. But yeah, I don't get why the subscription model would be you're allowed to subscribe, but only if you're in a certain country. That makes no sense in the slightest. At all.
Seems kind of limiting your fan base, doesn't it?
It does. It also seems kind of limiting your revenue from both BOO and YouTube's perspective. I don't know who puts that in limitation in. I can't imagine if you were trying to, sell content to people as an online audience, you wouldn't arbitrarily say, no, I only want Americans to be able to watch this. So
fuck you, France.
yeah, basically, it's like, surely this must have been implemented by YouTube, but at the same time, I can't understand why Google would do that. Google, I would like to hope, a little bit smarter than that.
Yeah, it does seem like a very financially stupid thing to do.
They make a lot of questionable decisions as regards the design of YouTube, but usually in terms of business strategy, Google's pretty on the ball about stuff. So that's a bit weird, yeah.
There's probably a lot of legal issues regarding rights and whatnot that I don't really care for.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe,
Yeah. I can't possibly envision what the heck they could be, but that's the only explanation. There was another article did the rounds not so long before this came out, which is I don't think it was supposed to be spread too publicly, but whatever, it got leaked and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, YouTube are going to be rolling out this new feature, which involves subscriptions, but it was more you paid a subscription to YouTube, not to the channel owner. You pay I don't know how much they were asking, like $5-10 a month, maybe something. And in exchange for that, you get access to your top 20 favorite YouTube channels ad-free, which is a really weird model.
Yeah, I can tolerate a couple of ads for the exchange of a tenner.
Yeah, also, I mean, are they doing that in a Twitch kind of format? Is that money then going to go to be paid into the channel owners? I mean, do you get to pick the 20 that you subscribe to? Do they say, okay, here's all your channels, which 20 do you not want to have adverts on? And do those channels then get a cut of your pay that you've then paid to YouTube? Do YouTube go, oh, well, this guy's subscribed and he said he wants to watch you, so here's a bit of money? Which, to be fair, probably seems like that wouldn't be a lot when you divvy it up, but it's probably still more than they would get paid for the amount of ads that they would otherwise have watched in a month's period. So it probably would work out in the long run, I guess.
Maybe.
It's still a very, very strange model. I can't see that taking off particularly. I think most people are quite happy to have the occasional banner ad and the once in a blue moon 5-second unskippable bit at the start.
Yeah, it's only like 20 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah, the worst adverts they run on YouTube, from a consumer perspective at any rate, is the completely unskippable adverts. The regulations on that say it needs to be less than 30 seconds long, so it's basically like a TV ad spot. So if your advert is longer than 30 seconds long on YouTube, it has to be one of the ones that has a little skip button on it, so people can choose not to watch it if they want.
Oh, the politics of YouTube.
There's the inner workings, yeah. I happen to have a little bit of experience in that myself.
Well, why? Do you have a YouTube?
Yeah. Never told you about that one.
Oh, no, you've never mentioned it before.
Oh, right. Well, maybe I could tell you where you could go to find it.
Well, please, if you would do, I'd really like to know.
That's youtube.com/buttonmashempire.
Thank you, I did that segue.
I denied you the first one.
It's been a poor day, I need your segues.
Do you want to go back and do the first one again, properly?
No, it's okay, we'll do it later on in the show.
Oh, the other one makes me money. I shouldn't have derailed that one, I should have derailed the YouTube one.
Yeah, derail the free ones, not the ones where you get money. That's your own fault.
It was a relevant point to be made, so I just kind of wanted to get into it, that was all.
I may throw you a bone later.
Good. Cool.
At least he remembered the YouTube channel.
Well, he usually gets it in at some point around this time each week. Somewhere around the 10-minute mark, I usually get that, oh, do you have a YouTube channel thing?
I'm going to try and get into the intro for next week. Well, I've
Hakuna
seen.
Matata, do you have a YouTube channel?
Oh, if only I could watch this on YouTube without paying a subscription fee.
And follow it on Facebook.
Oh,
Anyway, why
shall we
don't
move swiftly on?
Yeah, why don't you fine folks tell me what you've been playing? Let's start with Suneil, because he's been absent for a while, so what you been playing this week? Tell us.
Been playing a heck ton of The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which is basically Rebirth. It's a remake of the original Binding of Isaac, and it's got more features in it now. It's got the first one rolled out with an expansion called Wrath of the Lamb, and it had like additional items and more bosses. Basically, it's an action adventure roguelike dungeon crawler.
I don't most people probably know what it is by now, yeah.
Compared to like Zelda, room by room. Just basically you collect items on each floor, and you get more powerful on each run. Well, each run is different, obviously, because it's procedural generated. So yeah, it's having a lot of fun with that. It's been produced and developed by Nicholas, if that's pronounced all right. And the design, Edmund Macmillan, the creator, actually was just like a lead role, lead developer, while supervising the development of the game. So he wasn't that involved in this one, but it's got like a new 16-bit style to it, which I love. It's quite cool.
Yeah, it seems more like a demake than a remake. It seems like it's like wasn't this higher fidelity
you
before?
prefer the Flash version, the art style. I didn't particularly like the Flash version of the art style to it. I would prefer the pixelated 16-bit graphics.
I've heard other people say that, and I suppose each to their own, but honestly, no, I prefer the Flash one. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, do you prefer like smoother edges to art?
I think I've just played enough Flash games and watched enough Flash animation over the years that I'm experienced and accustomed to that kind of, the Flash style, as it were. It's like, yeah, this is okay, this is fine. I mean, what am I thinking of? There's a game, No Time to Explain, had a very similar kind of thing going on, and I really like that as well. It's just that kind of Flash game thing. It's like, this is okay, this is a style, I don't object to it. It's just like a cartoon more than anything else.
Yeah, it's a similar, like Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, likewise, same thing.
Like it's like comic book style. Yeah, it's quite cool. I like it. The other thing with the 16-bit graphics, this installment is that the original had like some performance issues. It slowed down so much and it crashed quite frequently, even with the updated Wrath of the Lamb. It's still crash and slow down quite a lot because you get quite a lot of projectiles on screen at one time, and obviously with the different synergies, it can be quite cumbersome and with
I was thinking it didn't seem like
on the screen.
I was thinking it didn't seem like the most demanding thing in the world, but yeah, come to think of it, when you think about Flash games, they can, when it's just trying to display a ridiculous amount of things, it can chug a bit. I've played some Flash games that got like huge particle effects everywhere and stuff, and in the end it's just like, this is a slideshow. I can't say I ever played enough of the original Binding of Isaac to ever get to any kind of state where that was the case. I played a bit of it and I was like, okay, this is mildly diverting, if completely fucked up.
It's a game. I have a very similar take on it. I've got both of them, but I can't say I've played much of either.
It's one of those games you do not want to play when you're depressed. It's quite morbid.
Yeah. Honestly,
very cheery.
Honestly,
you question the fact that what is wrong with Edmund? Is he like something wrong with him? Is he like mentally unstable or something to create something like this? But
this must be something wrong with him.
Oh yeah, underneath it all is quite mechanics and gameplay.
I mean, you know what his next one is, right?
What? Afterbirth.
Well, no, God, no. What? Where did that come from? No, his next game. The one, no, not the next Binding of Isaac. The next game that he's working on. Team Meat's next game.
No, I'm not too
Mugenics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mugenics. They're doing a crazy cat lady simulator where you get to collect and selectively breed cats to create the weirdest, most fucked up cats you can possibly imagine. It's Mugenics. It's ridiculous. I know. I want to play that, actually. That sounds hilariously fucked up, as opposed to Binding of Isaac, which is just fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I've also been playing Dungeon of the Endless by Amplitude Studios.
Likewise.
Likewise.
Yeah,
just recently.
I got that last night. I was going to ramble on about that a bit myself, but go on then.
You probably explain it better.
Okay.
It's a road like dungeon defense game, dungeon tower defense game.
Roguelike tower defense is what it is, I think.
It's like
with a lot of resource management.
Yeah, some RPG elements in that as well. So I've been having a blast with that as well.
Yeah, so you create a team of heroes, or I think, like, in some cases, anti-heroes. I think there's a bunch of different conflicting personalities and things in there, and they have to escape from... I'm not sure what I didn't really follow the plot too close. Is it like a crashed spaceship and you're supposed to be getting out of that or something? Yeah. And you've got to make your way up through the floors of the spaceship. You start off near a big energy power crystal thing, and by working your way through the ship, you can power rooms, and then in those rooms you can fight enemies, collect resources, and then use those to power further paths through the ship. And eventually you're trying to create a path to an exit to find an elevator. Each time you open a door to a room, that elapses a turn within the game, and any rooms that don't have power when that happens will fill with enemies and start trying to go to your power crystal and attack it, and if they destroy it, they win.
Yeah, they have to be linked to the crystal to power each room. Just power any different room. It's quite cool that after every floor you have to carry the crystal to the exit once you find it. Yeah, it's and they obviously the enemies spawn more frequent when you carrying the crystal to the exit.
Yeah,
so
they
just
don't
get massive wave.
And they don't give you enough power to power the entire floor, so as you're going through, it's like you have to strategically choose which rooms do I specifically want to turn the power off for, because the enemies will spawn in this room if it's turned off, but I need the power from this room to power a more important room that might have more resources and things in it. Because you've got places where you can build turrets, you've got places where you can to defend against the enemies, and you've got places where they will generate resources for you. So there's a lot of resource management, not least of which is just the power to power all the rooms.
How far did you get with the run? What floor did you go to?
I didn't play much of it. I mean, I started I think the first video of that went up less than 2 hours ago. During December on my YouTube channel, I will be doing a thing called Advent of Indies, which is tying in with a project that Rat King Entertainment, the people who made Try, are doing, which is over at advent-of-indies.com, which is a name that rolls off the tongue.
Oh, yeah. That's so easy to segue for me.
Yeah, I know, right? So that's basically what they're doing there is they're doing one freebie giveaway of something each day, and then they're trying to promote a game alongside it, and it's Amplitude Studios is day one for December 1st of the Advent of Indies, and the free giveaway was the soundtrack to one of the other Endless games. I forget which one, to be honest. And I did this like 2 years ago in 2012 when they ran it the first time. They didn't do it so much last year, so when they did it this year, I was like, okay, great, I want to get in on this again, do it again, because I quite enjoy doing it as a project. It keeps me on my toes with video making. It's an interesting thing to do. But then, yeah, it's like, today's freebie is a soundtrack, and I'm like, I can't make a video out of a soundtrack. That's not gonna work. Great, good start to day one.
Your lyrics. Sing. Make your own lyrics.
I'm not going to sing the entire soundtrack to Endless, whatever their other Endless game is. I forget. I should probably just get the website up, but hey.
Endless Legend?
Endless Legend, that would be the one, actually, yes. Endless Space is the other one. I knew it wasn't Endless Space. It's the third one in the series. I don't know if they're in any kind of chronological order. They're just all in the same universe. I know that much. So I kind of ended up having to plump for buying Dungeon of the Endless and playing through that. So I've actually only really done the first floor of the first sort of bit. So it's like, okay, I'm going to learn to play this game. What I'm wanting to do with each of these each day now, I'm going to be trying to put a video out for each of the games each day, is I basically want to play the first 15 minutes of it and try and get to grips with it and see what it is and whether I like it, and my thoughts on it. Kind of blind first impressions, as it were. So Dungeon of the Endless was the first one up on that, so that is up on my channel now. Go check that out.
That would have been, if we hadn't already done it, that would have been perfect for a segue.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Oh well, never mind.
I'm guessing each individual run will last quite a while.
Yeah, like,
I was on floor 3 after like an hour and a half.
really? Yeah, like I said, that was the first floor. Took me 15 minutes there, and then once you've done the floor, it gives you this big list of floors to work your way through, and it looks like there's like 20 floors to work through or something. It's like, I hope I can save this, right? I can just pick this up later, can't I? I don't have to do it all in one go.
Endless replayability.
That said, all the screenshots and stuff seem to show more characters, as it were. I mean, they only gave me 2 to start with. It's like, the other ones were showing like teams of 4. Do I recruit more people as I go, or what? Because
I've well, with that, you can basically dismiss like the 4th person, and if you encounter another one after you've filled all 4 slots, so you can dismiss them for a food fee. And they just basically, it says that we'll see you later on in another floor, so maybe you can switch them up on another floor, maybe.
Okay, that's
you unlock you probably unlock each character once you see them for the first time. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've only done really about 15 to 20 minutes of actual gameplay, so I really don't know much about the progression through the game. I mean, I imagine you've probably played more of it than I have at this stage. I mean, I know you have. You got to floor 3. I've only done floor 1, so yeah.
Yeah. There's obviously progressively get harder as
It's a roguelike, of course it does.
yeah.
They're going to throw ridiculous odds at you, and occasionally you're going to get lucky and get the right combination of items that means you win. It's the same as Binding of Isaac, and it's the same as Risk of Rain. It's the same as arguably Tower of Guns. Take your pick. They're all very similar.
The story seems a lot like Risk of Rain. Oh,
Yeah,
Crash
essentially.
Land.
Yeah, there was
Crash
the Crash
Land on
Landing
the planet.
element of it. Yeah. It's also pixel arty as well, so there's that going as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks pretty cool.
I
might have to
thought
pick this
it'd be
up.
your taste. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we've still got the Steam sale on, or at this particular moment in time, so it's a little bit cheaper.
When's Hyperlight Drifter coming out?
Oh, not for ages. Probably within a year, I reckon.
Cool.
They're spending a lot of time on it, and they've not updated anything for a long time. But the beta is still open. They said it was only going to be open for a month, and I guess anybody that picked up the beta can still play it. I was playing it the other day.
I thought it was like a limited time thing.
Yeah, I don't know why, but they've just left it open.
Oh, damn it. If I'd known, I would have bloody bought the damn thing. I was going to check it out, and then by the time I got round to it, it was like, oh, there's only like 5 days left on it. I was like, oh, well, why would I buy it now just for 5 days of gameplay? Might as well just wait for it to be released now at this point. If I'd known they were just going to leave it, I'd have bought it.
No,
What's that? Sorry, carry on.
The last update they had, I found out what all the keys unlocked, and it's an extra gun. But they posted up some stats about what people had actually accomplished in the beta, and out of thousands of people that played it, only about 52 managed to get all 16 keys.
All right.
So they're very well hidden.
Cool. And you got all of them, so you're like...
No, I didn't get... I wasn't one of those 52. I am about 4 keys shy.
Oh, right.
But I've still got an opportunity to play it, so I might still find that gun.
Cool. All right.
What was that game that you were playing on your YouTube channel? It was Boundless.
Border Remembrance?
Is that it? Yeah, that's it.
Border Remembrance, yeah.
I like the art style in that.
Again, it's very similar. I mean, me and Will both played through the demo a little while back. I don't know how it stacks up against Hyperlight Drifter.
It's similar, but Hyperlight Drifter's probably more ranged weapons.
Right. Well, I think some of the other characters in Border Remembrance probably will have ranged weapons, because I know I think there's an archer and I think there's a mage, but in the demo they only gave you the girl with the scythe, so you only had melee options in the demo. I think when you actually get to full release for Border Remembrance, you'll have a lot more gameplay options at your disposal. But right now, yeah, if you want to go do that, it's very hack and slashy.
Yeah, it's another one I've not heard any updates from in a long time.
Did they ever actually launch the second Kickstarter? I never did find that one out.
Not that I'm aware of.
How strange. How very strange. Sort of vanished.
Kickstarter. Failing us once again.
Yes, blame Kickstarter for a developer not launching their second Kickstarter. It must be entirely their fault.
It's the natural reaction.
So yeah, did you try and segue a moment ago, Michael? Because I felt like you did, and those two trampled on it.
No,
Denied again.
I thought it seemed like you were trying to go somewhere when I mentioned Steam sales.
I think I said it was something about Cyber Monday, but...
Oh, yeah, they're doing... Yeah, it's part of... They're not doing explicitly Cyber Monday, they're just part of the whole... They started before Thanksgiving, and it runs through till tomorrow, or today when the video goes out.
Don't get excited, you'll know when a segue is coming.
Builds up to it.
It's like a fine wine, you've got to let it mature.
I thought you might have had an interesting and relevant point to raise. I was clearly wrong. That was ridiculous of me to assume such things.
When have I ever raised an interesting and...
Okay, point taken.
I'm just here for segues and comedy buffoonish statements.
Alright, what's anyone else been playing?
I've played a lot of Wolfenstein. I managed to get all the way through it in one big bulk over the weekend.
I thought you were never playing anything ever again.
Yeah, we thought we had a...
I went into rehab, I rehabilitated, and I found another first-person shooter to play.
Okay.
We're proud of you, Will. You've made good progress.
It's very shallow, so don't expect much. It's everything you would expect of a alternate history Nazi invasion.
I had heard it was fairly silly, but fairly satisfyingly so.
If you like shooting Nazis, it's very satisfying.
So the game with the robot dogs?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Them Nazis and their alternative histories.
Who knows, they may attack from the moon.
No.
There is a moon base in Wolfenstein.
There is actually.
Also, have we seen the new trailer for Iron Sky 2?
I did not know there was an Iron Sky 2.
I knew they're making the film. I didn't see the trailer for it, I don't think.
Yeah, that's launched on Indiegogo now, and I'm looking forward to that.
Right.
It's got Hitler riding its tracks.
Right. Okay then.
Yeah.
That does sound like the greatest thing ever.
Okay, sure. There's a trailer.
And Sarah Palin is a reptile.
Well, that's just fact.
That's
not for the film. That's just literally what she is.
They've actually had to pay her a lot of money to appear in a true form.
Without makeup. Is there no makeup selfie?
No latex mask.
There was someone linked to me a while back another in the same kind of vein, another silly alternate history Nazi thing, and I can't remember if I ever shared it with any of you guys.
No,
because it was amazing. I can't remember. Oh, I can't remember for the life of me what it was. Is it?
The alternative Nazi history podcast.
It's. I can't remember what it's called now. I'm desperately racking my memory trying to figure this one out. I could probably find it on Facebook, so I apologise if it makes any blinky bloopy noises on the camera. So, you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to find out what the heck this thing was called.
Cyber Uber Ultra Megatron Hitler.
P-51 Dragon Fighter.
No, I've not heard of that.
No.
The Nazis recruit dragons to join their army.
Oh, fantastic.
There are dogfights with dragons.
Is this a game or a film?
There's a film.
Oh my god.
Is it like a B movie or something? An actual...
It's like a Z movie.
It's like
B movie is too favourable.
So it's like the Sharknado thinking.
It's
How
very-
can we make the Nazis more intimidating?
Yeah, it's
Dragons.
basically how can we one up Sharknado at this point? Yeah.
Oh my
They're
god,
just,
that looks
recruit-
amazing.
They just recruit. They might as well just recruit Godzilla.
That's the only next logical step at this point.
Godzilla.
And
Godzilla.
Hitler.
Godzilla. Here's some fish. We have lots
That's
of
a
fish.
cartoon.
Oh dear. When Godzilla met Hitler.
Love at first sight.
The Japanese were surprisingly supportive.
Make it to romantic comedy. He's trying to woo the Godzilla.
Just the slow motion shots of them both running through a field of grain towards each other. There we go. It writes itself.
And I will always love you.
Make it so. Make that happen.
Is Patrick Stewart's cameo then? You think?
I'm sure we can get him. He's not doing much these days, right?
Would you like me to make a restaurant appointment for Hitler and Godzilla at 8? Make it so.
Is that all he's going to have? Just that one line. We just want him to. We don't want him to do anything. We just want to hire him so he can say "make it so."
When he's doing the wedding. Can we now be married? Make it so.
Right. There we go. That's the screenplay right there.
I don't think I need to add any details or anything though.
Nope. Just get that one pitched. Get that one pitched. Someone. Does anyone know any good agents? No.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
well.
just get him on the line.
We have the power of the internet behind us. We can make it happen. Someone get 4chan's finest talent to help us out with that one.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna Google Hitler versus Godzilla to make sure it hasn't been done.
I'm now starting to wonder if that might well have happened. It seems like the kind of thing that might happen. Has it happened?
There's a YouTube video called Godzilla Visits Hitler's Meroka bunker.
What now?
Oh, sorry, Führer bunker.
Oh, I see it.
apologize.
Godzilla visits the Führer bunker. Okay.
Yep, that's Godzilla attacking Hitler.
Well, okay. I guess we've been beaten to it. Oh well. Back to the drawing board. I'm sure we can come up with more stupid movie concepts.
Hitler's not looking very happy about it.
Well, yeah, okay. I can probably understand why. It's a natural reaction to being attacked by Godzilla.
Well, if Godzilla's coming to collect his interest fees from the loan that he's lent Hitler.
Is that genuinely the plot of it? What?
Yeah, and Godzilla's firing lightning at his mouth. This is a scary Godzilla.
Nice.
Oh, the internet.
The internet indeed. So,
What have you been
done
playing
with
this week,
Nazis.
John? Yeah.
what have I been playing? I played a bit of Far Cry 4 actually, which you probably wouldn't have seen coming.
I know. Yeah.
No,
it's
wouldn't have
fun.
expected that from
It's a
you.
review copy.
Yeah, right.
He's getting those big name titles now. aren't he?
John's the biggest advocate of Ubisoft at the moment.
I'm the only one who hasn't slagged them off in the popular press, so I'm the only one they've got to go to
I
now.
think you slagged them off. It
He will
wasn't
be
in the
the bit-
popular press.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
You'll be slagging off him in a bit. Of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, we got jumping the gun on that one, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert! News coming up involving Assassin's Creed.
Oh wow, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, scroll down the page.
Oh. I didn't know you could move this thing.
So yeah, it wasn't actually my copy of Far Cry. As a friend who went over to his place and he was like, "Hey, I got Far Cry 4. Do you want to play through it?" I was like, "Okay, I'll see what the fuss is about." It's actually pretty good.
I think secretly you're a big Ubisoft fan and you're just deflecting to make us think you don't like Ubisoft because you want to
That's
look
it.
cool.
That's it. I'm just overcompensating.
Calm before the storm.
So yeah, Far Cry 4, that's actually pretty cool. I'm quite enjoying that. There's just being able to summon animals to fuck up guys is pretty fun. There's like one village they ask you to take over. In fact, there's quite a lot of villages to take over. It's Ubisoft's open world, go do a bajillion mini quest kind of things. And a lot of them are like liberate villages to do things. And one of them is like a bunch of guards everywhere. And you sneak up into it, and then there's an elephant chained up in a cage, and you just take a machete and smash the cage open, and the elephant just goes and fucks everything up. It's like, I didn't even have to fight them. It's like, go elephant! Holy shit! I can dig this.
Smart creatures.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think the elephant would attack you there.
Well, it was a concern. I was like, well, I'm breaking into this small, tiny, enclosed space with the elephant in order to break it out. Who's it going to attack first? Who's stood in front of it whilst I'm breaking it out? Oh, yeah.
It
Maybe
knows.
you were wearing-
It knows.
Maybe you were wearing an elephant costume.
That's the only rational explanation for it.
This is like, oh, that's a fellow elephant. I will not harm him.
It's a pretty funny game, to be honest. I mean, it's the antagonist is really, really well written. He's got a lot of very stupid, over the top lines. I've heard him compared to what's the guy in Borderlands?
Handsome Jack?
Handsome Jack, that's the guy. Yeah, it's a Handsome Jack-esque kind of in a number of ways. That kind of character. It's quite entertaining. And then at the same time, the game isn't entirely sure whether it's trying to be serious or really stupid and over the top a lot of the time. You've kind of got the Handsome Jack kind of character, and then you've got a lot of serious stuff going on. It's like, just pick a design choice. Either be serious or go full Saints Row on it. Maybe not full Saints Row. I mean, you know...
Never go full Saints Row.
You never go full Saints Row, yeah. At that point, you're hiking over the Himalayas beating up people with a dildo. So yeah, it's kind of a weird style, but ultimately it's a fairly enjoyable experience. I will probably quite gladly play a bit more of that in the coming weeks. It's got very, very sporadically and occasionally it will give you a flying craft, which is kind of a helicopter, but it's a very weird looking helicopter. It doesn't look like it should stay in the air. So you can fly around, so that's cool. Not enough flying in these games.
Well, most helicopters fly by magic.
Clearly, yeah. Well, at first it kind of looks like it's kind of an auto-gyro, and those things definitely do fly by magic. Because there's literally no way those things are supposed to be able to stay in the air.
Is it Da Vinci's fly machine?
So yeah, I think so. That's it.
Modelled replica. It just falls into pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a video where like they throw bait out to them, and the snow leopard comes out of nowhere on fire.
On fire? That's impressive.
That sounds really manly.
Let's ride it into the sunset.
There was one group of enemies I threw some bait at, and just a honey badger came out of nowhere, and it's like, that was awesome. This honey badger don't give a fuck. Honey badger's just getting shot and it's just fucking people up.
Oh, is that what the Penny Arcade reference was?
Yeah, that was what that was about, yeah.
Sometimes I really don't get those, and sometimes it takes a few weeks for them to sink in properly.
Well, if you read Tycho's news posts, I know it usually goes up like 6 to 12 hours after the comic, so it's sometimes easy to miss that. But if you go and read that, he usually gives some kind of context to it. Usually. Not always, but the times he doesn't, it's usually fairly obvious what's going on in the comic. So yeah, I think he mentioned that was in regards to Far Cry. Because I read that comic as well. I was like, well, this is delightfully silly, but I have no idea what they're talking about. Are they just making jokes about honey badgers here, or is this a game? Yes, it was Far Cry, apparently.
Ah.
And you need to... The amount of hunting you need to do for like no bloody reason is ridiculous. I mean, I need to make the... What do I need at the minute? We're at a point where we need 3 honey badger pelts to make the 3rd upgrade to the holster, which will allow us to carry 4 weapons at once. And you just... There's at one point it's like... The next wallet upgrade that we need so that we can hold more money requires the entire skin of 3 rhinos.
Wow.
That's practical.
That's not. You're not building a wallet at this point. You're making a tent, a really big one at that. I'm just going to make this entire marquee to house all of my money. It's a bit ridiculous. It's like, there's animals everywhere. Can I just pick one and take one pelt? It'd probably make a pretty nice wallet. I mean, there's like a pig there. We'll just use some pig skin. That'll work, right? No, you need 3 rhinos.
I have to make you work for it.
3 entire rhinos? 3 entire rhinos.
We need the best cuts of the rhino in wallet making.
Why is it carrying all this stuff?
You carry that with bags.
Which you
It's
have to
made out of animals. Yeah.
Bags of dead rhino.
Essentially, you're just carrying around bags of flayed skin that also carry bags of flayed skin.
Yeah, it's getting that way, yeah. Everything that you craft to upgrade, to make upgrades, to carry more ammunition, to carry more money, to carry more items, to carry everything, is just skins of animals. And yeah, so you're constantly collecting skins of everything in order to make more places to store more skins of animals.
Your character must be really popular. That's... I can't even imagine the smell.
Yeah.
Today you made extinct
Yeah, exactly.
all these different animals.
You're hunting rhinos for a place to put money.
Yep.
That's ridiculously offensive.
There are side quests in the game which are rare animal hunting as well. Presumably at some point there is specifically a thing that says, hey, these rhinos are endangered, go kill some. And your tourist who's just visiting the area just happily bounds on his merry way and goes, okay, I'm going to go kill some endangered animals now. He just seems to take it all in his stride. Yeah, he's kind of just gets thrown headfirst into some weird sort of civil war kind of deal. And he's just like, okay, I'm going to go shoot all the people now without any kind of issue. I mean, the plot of it is he's in the country to scatter his mother's ashes. That's why he's visiting the country, and he immediately gets kidnapped off and embroiled in a conflict. And he's like, "All right, well, I'm going to go kill people and hunt animals and all this now." Doesn't seem to ever have any particular issue with it, in spite of him just
Sometimes
being,
I shoot things instead of taking out my issues.
Yeah, baby. Sometimes I shoot up an entire country. Is Karat an actual place? We were debating this.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the Himalayas. No.
Well, I realised the Himalayas are an actual place. I didn't know if Karat was like made up a stan.
It sounds familiar.
It's when you like Just Cause had Panau. Panau's not a real place, but it was based on like Indonesia, I think, was it? It was kind of the area that Just Cause 2 was set in. I think it must have been like Singaporean, I guess, because like one of the accents was Singlish, was what it was. So I guess it was kind of that kind of Singapore region of the world, I guess. Yeah, so it's kind of real world. You can have a real world place with it still being in a fake country.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if Karat was the same kind of deal or if it was just pulling names out of their ass.
Sounds familiar.
All right. So yeah, that's my AAA experiences for the year. That's about all I'm gonna have.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I totally didn't play Raven's Cry this week because they delayed the bloody thing.
Oh.
I was looking forward to that one, and then I didn't buy it because I'm holding off on it till I've got a better graphics card, and I did buy one on Black Friday, so I've got a good graphics card on its way to me hopefully some point this week. And
What did you end up getting?
I've got a GTX 970.
Ooh, I think that's one above mine.
Okay, what have you got? Because that's like, well, with the 900 series, they've only done the 970 and the 980 at the minute, so...
Right.
So there isn't, as of yet, there isn't a 960, so you can't be one below it without being, I don't know. What are you currently running?
Oh, I've forgotten entirely. It's very close to that.
Okay. Either way, my current one, the one I've currently got in my machine at the minute, is a 550 Ti, which is at this point 4 years old, and it's due an upgrade. And I'm really looking forward to being able to play games at a reasonable frame rate. Because WildStar chugs a lot, and I would like to play WildStar without it chugging a lot. And Raven's Cry is something that will undoubtedly make my computer chug a lot. So I'm looking forward to being able to play that well, I think. But yeah, a little bit of me's happy that they delayed it, because it's like, now it will come out after I get my graphics card, and I can play it right from the start, looking lovely and everything, and not like arse. Which would have done if I were playing it now.
Have they given a reason for the delay?
Not that I could see, actually. There was a post on their Steam page about the last delay where they said, "Oh, we pushed it back to end of November now." Now it just says release date is mid-December now, so it's in 2 weeks' time. But no reasoning for that. Admittedly, checking the Steam forums, there's a lot of, I guess, people who've had their eye on it a lot longer than I have. I've been going back and forth on whether it's reasonable for them to do this, because I guess it's been delayed more than a few times. I think it's been pushed back a grand total of about 6 months at this point. It was supposed to come out much, much, much earlier in the year, and it's just been delayed and delayed and delayed. And I've just kind of picked up on it like a few weeks before launching, on, "Hey, pirates! Pirates are awesome!" And now I'm joining the crowd of people going, "Oh, stop delaying it."
Can play Unity whilst you wait. Not Unity, I mean Black Flag.
Well, no.
You were umming and ahhing last week.
I was umming and ahhing. I still kind of am, but I think I'd rather play Raven's Cry. I'll say, I mentioned this to you guys just before we started, but they've got 3 trailers up on the page. 2 of them are just really cool pirate-themed covers of existing songs, which are really awesome, and I like that. So, one of them is a pirate-themed cover of The Wild Rover, which is a classic Irish folk song, and I really like that song, and the fact they've done a pirate take on it's like, that's awesome. That's pretty much sold me. If I wasn't already sold on the game, I'm very much sold on it now. That's really cool. They claim to be going for more, as I said before, kind of a more gritty, realistic pirates thing. So it's very, very, very raunchy, as opposed to just... Wild Rover's just about drinking, really, mostly, more than anything else. And yeah, these are all about whores and things. So, charming things. But I guess that's what pirates are into. So they're going for more. Well, I think they're going for more what they think pirates actually were, rather than yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Because that's just a bit twee, a bit Disney, a bit Captain Hook.
Lidge. Everything.
Played a bunch of WildStar this week. Finally got into the group stuff, kind of. I'd say I kind of got into. I was kind of dragged into the group stuff more than anything else. I ended up doing... I was kind of bored, and someone was like, "Oh, hey, do you want to go do some adventures?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I could go do some adventures, why not? They're mildly entertaining things." There's one of them, I can't remember if I mentioned it before, there's one of them called the Malgrave Trail, which is just an MMO take on Oregon Trail, which I hope you guys are familiar with.
No.
You don't know Oregon Trail? Why has no one ever heard of Oregon Trail that I've talked to you recently? It's a really classic, old school. It's on the kind of computers you would have had at school when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And it was a mostly text-based thing about, I think it was like the Gold Rush, about heading west across America to Oregon, and you had to follow the trail and try and survive, and your wagon would break down, and you had to get across rivers and trade with people and go hunting for supplies, and it was supposed to be really brutally hard. And yeah, they've basically taken that format, that original going across a trail and trying to keep everyone alive text adventure thing, and they've done it in an MMO now. So you've got your team of 5 people, and you've got a caravan of 30 people, and you're supposed to be going across the desert trying to get to the other side, picking up water and food and things as you go, and fighting off packs of wild animals and whatnot. And they've done it really, really well, and it's quite cool. And I was just like, I'll tag along to this. I got a little bit derailed there, but... So yeah, that was just a thing I wanted to tag along to, because I really enjoy that format. That Oregon Trail kind of thing is a really cool concept, so it's like, I'll do this. Then after that, they were like, oh, let's do another one. I was like, all right, yeah, sure, that's fine. More loot for me, that's cool. I can deal with this. After that, it was like, let's do a dungeon. It was like, I haven't done any dungeons. Am I going to die here? They're like, come into TeamSpeak. We'll teach you how to do dungeons. I was like, okay then. Yeah, we died a lot. We died a lot.
Yeah,
A heck of a lot.
the learning curve.
Yeah, so that's... Yeah, dungeons in that are just crazy. I mean, I mentioned doing some of the low-level stuff before, and it was like, it was challenging but fun. In this instance, it's all of the same mechanics, but now everything in the room wants to kill you all the time. I mean, you recall I talked about like a dragon that had like the Eye of the Storm in the center of the room, and you had to stick into the Eye of the Storm and keep fighting it whilst the storm sort of raged around the room, and you had to follow the eye with it to kind of fight the dragon thing. Now, whilst you're doing that, there's lightning striking everywhere, so you have to dodge lightning whilst trying to stay in the safe spot in the storm, and it's just goddamn ridiculous. And yeah, it's all the bits that were challenging before, now it's just almost impossible. It's ridiculous. It's almost impossible for me. I don't know if there were many bosses that I did survive, like, at all. Most of them are kind of like, when we did win the fights, it was like, we got it down to maybe 2/3, 3/4 down, and then at some point I died to something goddamn stupid. And then they'd have finished the fight without me. So every single boss that we did, I just kind of ended up with me dead on the floor. There was one kind of forge master kind of thing running some big giant ancient forge of the gods and whatnot, and he was really freaking cool. I obviously hadn't done him at low levels at this one. He's got like an entire bullet hell phase going on. He just flings hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of saw blades across the room in this really intricate pattern, and I'm like, holy shit. I know this. This is bullet hell. I can do this. This is my jam. I can do bullet hell. This is no longer MMO. This is my genre. So
Did
that
you
was
still
fun.
die?
Yeah. It's bullet hell.
It's bullet hell,
I still died, yeah. But yeah, that was cool.
Dear.
The first bit was just like, oh yeah, go through all the MMO stuff, don't step in the fire, collect the things that give you power-ups, don't let him collect the things that give him power-ups, and then it's like, suddenly, bullet hell everywhere! It's like, ooh, this is cool! This is insane, but cool. So now I've got a few people in the guild are now rather worryingly enthusiastically trying to get me up to raiding standard. Which I'm not sure I want to be, but go on.
What's the reward store? Raids.
You get to do more raids.
Oh, okay.
It's like World of Warcraft, is you get better loot, which allows you to do even harder content.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, Will, you've been intrigued by this news for some time. Boss number 8 out of 9 has been defeated.
Oh, finally.
Yeah. So there was a video posted on the WildStar subreddit this week, was like, here's the intro cutscene to the final boss of the game, which is kind of cool. Which was just kind of shortly after they defeated boss number 8, obviously. So it was just the intro cutscene. So they haven't killed the final boss, but they got to it, if nothing else. The first people to actually reach the bloody thing. I gather the reason it's been delayed so much is, I think the previous few bosses are kind of, there's like 6 different elements within WildStar, and there are like huge elemental bosses, and there's one in each of the 6 flavors, so I don't know if there's like 3 bosses, because they like pair up, so there's like 6 elements, and they pair 2 together to make a boss fight. And I think there's like I say, there's 6 elements, so I think there's probably 3 fights. I'm kind of speculating a bit here. And the pairings are kind of random, and some fights are easier than others, and so only some combinations of those elements have actually been defeated by players, and other ones are just ridiculous and have not been defeated yet. And I think this week, I guess the planets just kind of aligned, and it created 3 not impossible combos, and someone finally got through them to get to the final boss. So, you know, in the coming weeks, it may well be that it may be a few more weeks before anyone even gets to that boss again. Because, you know, next week it might randomize it up and, hey, different combo. Now it's totally different. You've got to fight it differently.
I would love to play this game, but I will never have time to get to that level.
No, you won't.
No. It's virtually pointless me even starting.
Well, it's interesting. Like it's got like an ultimate like goal for the game. You get bragging rights and stuff like it.
Well, every MMO does that. I mean, there's a limited amount of content that they can put in the game. There is a finite amount of things to do. And ultimately, at any given stage in the game, there will be a final boss. And somebody out there has to be the first to do it. The thing is, within something like World of Warcraft, that's usually done within a couple of days of the expansion coming out. If they release... I haven't followed Warlords of Draenor particularly closely, but I imagine there will be raid content in that. And... I know there were some people saying, oh, I've got to level 100 within like a day or two of the expansion coming out. I imagine your crazy hardcore guys probably did it in under 24 hours, because people do that. They're like, hey, level 90 to 100, let's do it. Boom, 24 hours, just grind it out. And they'll do it. They will. You know they will.
Do you get like accolades, like visual representation of like what achievements you've accomplished, or is it visual?
In World of Warcraft, certainly back in Wrath of the Lich King when I last played it, certainly people who got server firsts, I can't remember if there are any world firsts, definitely server firsts. If you were the first people on the server to kill a boss, or at least the end boss of most raid instances, you would get a title to put by your name to say, hey everybody, this guy's freaking awesome.
Cool.
So that's your visual recognition. You get an exclusive and limited title that says you are one of the 25 people who killed this dude first. I don't know whether that's a thing in WildStar. I'm not rightly sure, to be honest. At this point, I think simply the prestige of being the first is fairly noteworthy, just because, as I say, the game's been out since June? Was it June or July now? I think it was June. The game's been out since June, and they still haven't finished that final boss, so... I think anybody who's actually particularly into WildStar to any extent has kind of got their eye on this, like, when are they going to actually defeat Avatus? Because this has been a long time coming. So anybody who does actually get in on that fight is probably going to be fairly noteworthy, whether or not you actually get anything in-game or not. So that's cool.
Interesting, yeah.
I think those are the highlights of my gaming week. WildStar. I don't like how much I'm being dragged into WildStar, because like they really want me to play it a lot more than I have up to now been prepared to commit to that game. I'll put in a little bit here and there, do some daily quests, maybe occasional adventures and stuff. It's fairly easy content to, occasionally get bits of gear. Now people are like, hey, there's all this card content, why don't you come and do it 10 times in a row with us so we can get you some gear and then you can come raid with us? And I'm like, that doesn't sound fun. Can I go play a fun thing? I don't want to do the same thing 10 times in a row. I wanted to play, yeah, I got into a discussion with one of the guys, and it's like, I don't want to go down the World of Warcraft route with WildStar. I want this game to stay fun. I don't want it to become a job. And he was like, oh, yeah, I know. I totally feel the same way. And then, like, 5 minutes later, he's talking about how him and another group went and did an adventure, like, 20 times in a row, desperately trying to grind out helmets, and only, like, 3 of them actually got the helmet they wanted. And it's like, you know how you were just saying you didn't want this to become a job and you wanted to play this for fun? Now you're talking about playing it like World of Warcraft. I don't want to get there. That's not my thing. So, we'll see how that one goes. It can only go well, right?
Anyway.
Michael. Oh, go on. I was going to say House Football Manager, but go on.
I'm just like a little thing. When you gave me that week subscription thing, I found it really difficult to like move whilst casting. Do you have any problem with that?
Yes, I figured that was just my personal incompetence, but yeah, it's kind of a tricky business, sort of learning to move and attack at the same time, especially when everything's telegraph based. I think there's certainly a degree of skill involved in that, and I'm
You've
not
got your
quite
active
sure I've
skills
got
as well. One through like 9 to press as well.
Yeah, you've got a ridiculous amount of cast bar, and then you're trying to move and aim everything as well. I think
left hand's spazzing out.
Yeah, I think a lot of the issue is compounded by the fact that in something like World of Warcraft, you don't have to aim anything. You can move and you can fire, and if you fire a fireball or something, it doesn't matter roughly where you're aiming. As long as you're not literally facing the wrong way, as long as you're kind of looking in the right 180-degree cone towards the enemy, your fireball will go from you to the enemy and hit it. In this one, if you're not specifically looking at the guy, your bullets are just going to fly off into the distance and not hit your enemy. So you in addition to all your standard MMO stuff, you have to aim everything, and I'm not sure I necessarily have the dexterity for that.
Yeah, they have like peripherals for that. Separate peripherals.
Yeah, you do see like MMO mice and stuff that have got like all the hotkeys on the side of the mouse, and honestly, that would probably be pretty useful in this context because then you got your left hand would focus on being able to move, and then you could use the mouse to use just to aim, as well as like your thumb on the side of the mouse for the purposes of actually casting the spells.
That sounds really ergonomic. I like that.
Yeah, it's a very specific niche use for it. I can't think of many games that would use it well, but in something like WildStar, I can imagine that would be really useful. World of Warcraft, still yes, but maybe less so. WildStar it would be ideal for. So yeah. Michael, how's Football Manager?
I have a confession. I haven't actually played it this week.
You haven't? You put it on the page. It says on your page you played it. Are you lying to us?
I suspect he didn't take it off the page.
Maybe.
Oh dear.
I'm afraid, no, I couldn't face it this week.
You couldn't face it. You're doing so badly, you just couldn't bring yourself to do it.
Yeah, I'm taking a break. I'm building myself back up. I'm going to attack it with new vigour next week.
You're going to go to the board and get a vote of confidence, and then return enthused once more.
I'll come back next week. I've been fired.
You are no longer allowed to play Football Manager. You are that bad.
Yep.
At least made up a game.
The moment you get fired, the game uninstalls itself from your computer and then delete, and then the disk bursts into flames.
No, I'll probably just send me a message saying your manager character has killed himself in shame.
Wow.
It's going to be a morbid ending.
Will, I see another game on your list.
Yes,
was that not one we talked about in like new releases last week? And you were like, I don't know what this was, so it seems like you jumped for it.
Yeah, well, I think we both said that we really liked the visual loveliness of it. So I bit, and I played a sliver of it over the weekend, and admittedly a little bit before we started the podcast. So it's...
Do you want to tell people what it actually is? Because we haven't said the name yet.
Yeah, it's Joe Dever's Lone Wolf HD remastered. Yeah. So I think this was an iOS game, I believe, or it is an iOS game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very storybook-like, where interactive storybook, should I say?
Well, obviously, yeah. As we looked into last week, it's kind of derived from the adventure game book type things of the same name, the choose your own adventure type things. So, does it play like one? That's like I said, that was my main concern with those things. It's like it's basically the game. In many cases, it's like the game book, but you can't cheat. So I don't like that.
Yeah. What is you start off and you pick your character's attributes. Mm-hmm. So you can focus on being tactical or weapons heavy or stealthy, or it's got a lot of customization for how you want to play the game, but no real reference as to how well it will affect the game. Obviously, there's no wrong choices to pick, but whatever you do pick will affect the way the story progresses.
Yeah, I imagine so. The events and things that unfold will rely on certain skills more so than others, and depending on what you decide to focus on, that's going to affect things.
Yeah, when I play games, I usually play in a kind of tank position. So I went really, really weapons heavy, and immediately the game prompted me in the story to whether I wanted to rush to a village to save it from... I forget what the goblins are actually called. They have a specific name. I think it's a Gake or a Gak.
Okay.
But anyway, goblin orky things have infested a village, and you have to go kill them. And it gives you the option to either think carefully about what you want to do, or rush in. And I chose to rush in, and immediately my horse tripped on a trap and broke all its legs.
Its legs.
All its legs. All 4 of its legs. That happened.
My empathy's off the charts right now.
Yeah. But fortunately, I had chosen healing as one of my attributes, so I managed to heal my horse. But that took away some of my mana for the fight ahead. So it's... I don't know. I can't decide whether it's very forgiving or not yet.
It sounds exactly like every choose-your-own-adventure book ever,
Yeah.
but there you go. I suppose if you like that sort of thing, that's what you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. It's the combat in it, which is the main focus of the game after the narrative, is it's all quick time events, and I'm not very good at quick time events. Yeah, so you either have to rapidly click to fill up a bar, or click where at the exact moment a circle passes another circle, and it's very sensitive.
Oh, really? That's kind of weird. So it's a little bit more skill focused than dice roll.
Yeah, and it's real time as well. So enemies can attack you while you're picking stuff, and that's kind of annoying.
All right.
You have to physically click on the weapon that you want to use, or the potion that you want to refill a bar with, and then do the quick time events, and you can be interrupted while you're picking what you want to do, and that's kind of irritating.
That sounds almost like they're kind of going down the route of like the Telltale games, like your Walking Dead and whatnot.
Probably, yeah.
Perhaps some inspiration from there. Well, I think we observed last week. It doesn't seem like there's anybody else out there that is actually really going into that kind of territory. With the sort of point-and-click type things, most people are still content to, other than Telltale, most other people seem quite content to just stick with the same, pick up all the objects and rub them on all the objects to see if it opens a door formula.
No, this isn't like that at all, but it's very pretty, so I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to play a little bit more. But okay. I imagine it works a lot better on a touchscreen. Doing the quick time events on a touchscreen, I imagine, works much better than mouse.
Ah, right, yeah. Could be.
But we'll see.
Interesting. Is that all everyone has for the week? Sorry?
Press E to pay respects.
Press F to pay respects, actually. Yes.
Oh, thanks for correcting me.
He does that all the time. Have you played the game? First Far Cry now, Advanced Warfare.
No, I have not played Advanced Warfare. I have not pressed F to pay respects. Which I believe the term, I think Total Biscuit coined it, seems to have stuck, was it Total Biscuit? It was either Total Biscuit or Yahtzee coined the term, which was a slow time event. which is just, yeah, it's like a quick time event, but there's no actual time restraint on it. It's just at your leisure, press a button, or we're not going to advance the game anymore. The game just stops until you're prepared to press the button.
That seems ludicrous. I don't like that.
No, that's why everyone's mocked it so much, because it is goddamn ridiculous. It's just like, here's a cutscene, now it stops. Press a button to make it carry on. It's like, really? Come on. Yeah, it's ridiculousness of the highest order.
Telltale doing the Game of Thrones.
They are. You're jumping the gun big time this week.
Oh, sorry. Well, I haven't read further.
Yes, that is out this week. Indeed, we'll be doing that one in the game releases later.
Right, yeah.
In the show.
I literally haven't scrolled down that far. I was like the next scroll increment thing.
You're spoiling everything this week. You are the spoilerer.
Okay.
But anyway, if that's everything everyone's been playing for the week, seems like that might be a good place to take a break for a moment, and then we can come back and cover all the content that's already been spoiled in a moment.
We'll be back after a word from our sponsors. Hi there. I'm that guy from those solid bang adverts that you may or may not have seen on television. Are you worried about your skeleton leaping out of your body? Well, buy yourself a lead helmet from Lead Helmets Horrors. It will keep your skeleton in place. And now available for the gushy price of £155. This is a bargain you can't afford to miss. Lead helmets, the future. Warning, may cause death. But the MASH podcast is back.
Welcome back to Button Mash Podcast. We're going to talk about some video game news now.
And now, Button Mash gaming news and gossip.
Always with the gossip.
Yeah, it is gossip.
Do we have any gossip this week? I'm not sure if we do. I say that every week, I know.
It turns into gossip.
Could be gossip. Probably not gossip. I don't think it's gossip.
Phil Spencer's having a sex change.
Wow, okay.
The views of the Button Mash.
Wait, again.
At this point, it's not the Button Mash. It's not Button Mash news and gossip. It's Button Mash news and unfounded rumor now.
Button Mash and careless slander.
Button Mash news and libel.
The views of the Button Mash guest are solely his.
It wasn't even presented as opinion. That was just presented as facts. That's the problem with it.
What's our first piece of news then, John?
Assassin's Creed Unity. We already spoiled that.
Oh dear.
So Assassin's Creed is so bad that they're giving the DLC away for free, and if you got the season pass, they'll give you a free game.
For a Ubisoft lover like you, John, this must be a dream.
This should fuck up more often.
Yeah. I mean... Well, the issues with the game are already fairly well established at this point, I feel. So I think don't think we need to belabor that point too much. But yeah, that's kind of up to this point they hadn't admitted it, so that's kind of interesting. That at this point they're like, okay, yeah, we done goofed. We'd been up to now we'd been pretended we hadn't done goofed. Now we've done goofed.
Is this how it was? Is this how the press conference went? We no do good.
I may be paraphrasing a little bit.
We's are so stupid. We's are Sonic.
Yes, Ubisoft is run by Jar Jar Binks. That's why it was so bad.
Means I could not get the gameplay to work.
So yeah, if you are one of the unfortunate people to have purchased Assassin's Creed Unity, the DLC that you could, I guess the DLC wasn't out yet, but Dead King's DLC upcoming, that is now to be free. And if you had a season pass, you can now pick from The Crew, which is their new racing MMO thing, Far Cry 4, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, Rayman Legends, or Just Dance 2015.
Well, it's a gesture. I don't think it quite covers. It's going to quite cover anyone who's paid full whack on the game, no?
It's an interesting gesture. I mean, I think the reason they're doing that for Season Pass is, I believe also the plan is now to no longer make any more DLC down the line. I mean, obviously the whole point of a Season Pass is we're going to make lots of DLC here, buy it before we make it, kind of thing. Early access type crap. Except you don't even get to pay it. Early access lets you have access. This is just early paying. Which is actually worse than early access, but there you go. Yeah, now I think they're just like, you know what, let's just write off Assassin's Creed Unity, pretend it doesn't happen, and stop making things for it. Let's just pretend it doesn't exist. So
Which might be the best way forward for all the concerned.
Yes, quite possibly.
What actually was broken?
All the things?
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's the now famous pictures of people with no faces, which is a pretty good one.
These are no good at the
nightmares.
facial recognition.
Oh, Jar Jar Binks, you should work for NBA.
They tried making Jar Jar Binks' faces on everything.
Yeah. There were a lot of gameplay bugs with it, stuff like people falling through the floor for no reason, all sorts of things went wrong with it, and that was on top of it being really, really badly optimized. I mean, to go to a fairly standard benchmark as someone who throws ridiculous amounts of power at stuff, Total Biscuit is running a brand new PC with two GTX 980s SLI'd in it, and he was getting frame rate dips in that. There was like one Cathedral where he was still getting like 20 frames per second, and it's like, that's completely unacceptable when you've got, I think by his words, $1,200 worth of graphics cards in there. If you got $1,200 worth of graphics cards, you'd expect it to be able to play all the things.
Yeah, you would expect that to be quite useful, really, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. And even on consoles, it was generally running a lot of the time around 20 frames per second, and I know they like to make out that that's more cinematic and whatnot, but quite frankly, it's just not fucking acceptable.
That's like stop motion.
I mean, as I was saying, my WildStar frame rate's been chugging. A lot of the time it hovers around 27. I find that completely horrible to deal with, and it's like I really wish I could get it better. So that's why I'm looking forward to my new graphics card. However, it still won't be able to handle Assassin's Creed Unity, so I'm not even going to try.
Well, you pay 40 quid for a game, you expect to be able to play it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you then pay another 40 quid for the DLC, you'd probably expect the DLC as well. I mean, in that kind of instance, someone's paid for a product and now they've turned around and said, yeah, we're not going to give you the products, we're going to give you a different product. I feel like a more reasonable gesture would have been a refund on that one.
Maybe.
What was the performance like the last game?
Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag? I don't know what the performance was like, but I don't recall anybody slating it to quite the same extent. I seem to recall it was generally pretty competent across the board. It was
well accepted, I think.
It was very well received. It's generally regarded as one of the better Assassin's Creed games since one of the first two. First two ones were probably pretty good in most people's eyes, and then Assassin's Creed 4 was the first really good one in a long time. And it had pirates, which is why I'm kind of... No, I'm not going to do it.
Battles as well.
Mr. Ubisoft himself, looking forward to another game.
Yeah. Looking forward to last year's game here, yeah. So, yeah, if you were unfortunate enough to buy that, you can now check out their new stuff. Bear in mind, all the new stuff is kind of potentially... I mean, The Crew, they're doing the same thing again with the review embargo. I think they're kind of pulling the same excuse as with Destiny, which is like, oh, yeah, you're not allowed to review it until launch day because multiplayer. That's the thing. It's like, your game works perfectly fine without multiplayer. I'm sure the reviewers can get a few people together to have a bit of a game together. I mean, even in an MMO, it's very rare that you get large quantities of people to play together at the same time. It just doesn't happen unless they're going to have a 40-man raid in their racing game. I don't think they need to worry about the multiplayer too badly. I think it's still reviewable, I would have said.
That's the hidden level, I think.
Yeah, they've now got to go into Onyxia's lair and take down a dragon.
While driving a Mustang.
Yes. Which class is the Mustang? Is the Mustang a tank? Or is it a healer role?
I'd say a healer.
A Nissan Skyline DPS.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. We're jerks.
Yes, I know. So, yeah, that's another one to keep an eye on. I mean...
A wary eye.
Yes, I mean... Someone also somewhere on the internet at some point that I read pointed out the issue with also the fact that basically they aren't sending out any review copies of The Crew until launch day. It's not even a matter that the embargo's launch date. It's just they're not sending the review copies. No one in the press is actually going to have a chance to even have a look at the game until the game is out, which is an issue we've discussed in the past as regard reviews, because at that point, that basically means every single outlet out there, IGN, Polygon, GameSpot, all of them will all be racing against each other to get their review out first, to get all that valuable The Crew traffic, which means that whatever reviews come out of it are likely to be pants.
Yep.
So... Actually, maybe with The Crew, not even wait for reviews. Wait until there's a few reviews out and read them all. I think with that one,
you don't need to buy the game on launch day. Maybe
you do not need to buy the. I mean, yeah.
Maybe wait a day or two.
Wait a day or two. It won't kill you.
Yeah. Might even save £1.
Or if you wait, a whole year, you could save, 40 quid on Steam.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, one might comfortably argue that there would be downsides to getting into a heavily multiplayer game a year after launch. But,
yeah, fair enough.
You can understand with something like The Crew why people would want to get into it, but at the same time, it's not like the entire player base is going to die off after 2 days. So no, you don't need it on launch day at all. Wait and see. It will always benefit you in the long run. Always.
I do like the tagline Polygon have gone with this next article news.
Which one were you looking at here then?
It's the one underneath the one we've just done.
All right, I was looking at I had the articles open in tabs, so I was like, we've got 2 more to do. It's like, which one?
Let's go with Activision declares war.
Oh, right, yes. Activision declares war. Let's look at that one. Activision declares war on cheating and unfair exploits YouTube videos. Which I just care about because it's YouTube more than anything else. I imagine most people in the world don't give a toss. But, yeah,
Give us the details.
Activision have been doing copyright takedown deals with anybody who shows anything in a YouTube video that they would consider to be an exploit or a cheat within Call of Duty. As is always the way with various multiplayer games, particularly...
Or like glitching out the map.
Yeah, basically, anybody who glitches out the map, if they find a cheat or something, you know, a bit where you can...
They should have put that glitch in the first place.
Are you trying to solve this problem with logic?
How dare you? That's not how we do things at Activision.
Get out, boy.
So finished.
We'd rather ruin people's careers to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously the issue with this, not necessarily what they're doing. I mean, one might very comfortably argue, yes, they should have just fixed it in the first place. But when we're talking about big, elaborate multiplayer titles, there's always going to be shit. It's games. There's always going to be shit that breaks the game, indeed even cheats and exploits the game, that they didn't catch, no matter how much testing they put in. Chances are some player, when you put it in front of millions of people instead of the few hundred you had testing it, those millions of people are going to find something that allows you to spawn infinite ammo or hide behind a wall that people can't see you and you can shoot through or something like that. And in this day and age, that kind of content ends up on YouTube. And what should presumably happen at that point is Activision should perhaps speak nicely to that person and say, hi, we'd rather you didn't do that, could you take that down, and then also get their team to very, very quickly patch that out of the game. Would perhaps be the civil way to go about it. Or Activision's alternative strategy, the one they seem to be using, is to use the power of law just to take it down regardless and give them a copyright strike on the channel, meaning that if they were in a position where they were making money out of YouTube, they no longer can do that. After a few strikes, your channel gets deleted entirely. And screw you. Activision has final say in that one, so... yeah, that's not really the way to do it. I mean, I don't know whether what they're doing is illegal or not. A little bit of me would like to say yes, that's abuse of the DMCA takedown process and whatnot. I mean, if you do that fraudulently, if you know that somebody is allowed to make that content, and you turn around and say, no, you're not allowed to make that content, you end up with stuff like the Day One, the Gary's incident, which is, you previously said, hey, everybody's allowed to make any kind of video they want out of this, and then when you turn around and say, yeah, but that guy's not, that's not legal. That's very much illegal, and you will get sued by Polaris or someone, and that will hurt because they're Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it may be you'd probably have to go speak to Activision, negotiate carefully with them, find out what the actual terms of them allowing you to put content on YouTube is. They're not a little indie studio, let's be honest. There probably isn't a page on Activision's website that says, yes, we allow anybody and everybody to make any and all videos of anything that they like and put it on YouTube. That probably doesn't say that on Activision's page. There may well be a clause somewhere deep in the bowels of the basement, locked in a filing cabinet with a sign on the door saying beware of the tiger, that says you're not allowed to show exploits in the game. That could be a thing. So it may be legal for them to do this. I just don't think it's a good way to do this. I think that's a rather poor move on their part. Just from a PR perspective, even if it's not straight up illegal.
Yeah, it's morally questionable.
Morally questionable, but that is Activision. What did you expect? But hey, at least they're being beaten out by Ubisoft these days for being awful people. It's like there's a battle between EA, Activision, and Ubisoft as to who can be the worst to their customers. And EA are doing pretty okay these days.
That's surprising.
Okay, final news is Smash Brothers Wii U GameCube adapter. The headline says, just became much more interesting in a nice clickbaity kind of way.
And did it?
Basically, there's some some clever hobbyist has found a way to take the adapters, which I think we discussed on Sunday that they're like really, really hard to come by and maybe not even making anymore, so good luck getting hold of them. But if you've got one... sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Amazon, when it became available on Amazon, that's probably like a month and a half before it released. Well, recently. Well, I pre-ordered it then, and they've just said last minute, yeah, it's going to be delayed by 2 weeks. So I just cancelled.
Fair enough. So yeah, if you do manage to get your hands on one, there's now some funky little bit that someone's done with it that allows you... I know that's a technical term, a funky little bit.
Funky little bit.
He's done a funky little bit, and what it means is you can now plug it into a PC and you can use your GameCube controllers on a PC, because the bit that plugs between the adapter into the Wii U, I think, is USB. So you can take that and plug it.
USBs,
yeah, you can plug that into a USB on your PC, and by doing whatever he did, which I'm sure will be fairly well distributed in the near future, you can then basically plug your GameCube controller into that and do whatever. There's also another way around using the same device, because it's obviously got the USB interface into the Wii U. It's like there's a potential there to be able to use any USB device to play Super Smash Bros., which is kind of cool. In case you were really, really keen to play it on your Guitar Hero controller.
Well,
it's a challenge.
That's been the dream, hasn't it?
I think
it's a challenge in a game. Never mind. Playing with a different controller.
I think we just found a round for our next mashup tournament. By the way,
I think you might be right there.
Dance smart.
Oh my god, yes. 8-player Super Smash Brothers on dance mats.
My god, the chaos.
Well, we can divide them into two teams. We can have Team Dance Mat versus Team Guitar Hero.
I think we're gonna have to film that if we do that.
So yeah, I like interesting adapters that allow you to plug stupid things into stupid things, and that is pretty much what this has become now. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, button mashing those stupid things.
It's what I do. Anyway, with that kind of rounds up our gaming news. So shall we move on to some new releases for the week?
And now new game releases! Yay!
You sounded so enthusiastic.
I'm sorry, I'm trying out a new jingle. I'm not sure if that one worked.
Well, okay, let's start off with a game we've actually literally just been talking about. The Crew. The Crew is out as of time of video going up today, in fact. Available on your PS4, the Bone, and the PC.
Well, it's good that we're finally getting a game where you can go on raids and drive cars.
Maybe, we don't know. Nobody knows, because nobody's got a review copy of the bloody thing, so we don't know what's in it.
Could just imagine like 4 cars like fighting a giant dragon monster.
If it doesn't have that, I'm disappointed, and it's no sale from me, quite frankly.
I think we're missing a genre.
So yeah, that's The Crew. I think we already fairly elaborately covered what that entails. It's 40-man racing dragons.
Yep, can't wait for that.
We got Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix. I'm not even sure what that means.
No, I'm slightly confused.
I also like that it's if you click through on the link, they stylize it in Roman numerals 2.5, so it's II.5.
Yeah, it's not point V.
II.V, that would be hilarious.
Mr. Trick.
Did the Romans have decimal points? I'm not quite sure they did.
I'm sure
I don't think they did.
I'm sure it would have been a slightly more complicated version, like XXXXW.
Yeah. So this is a follow-up to the HD 1.5 remix, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Kingdom Hearts to know like what the deal is with 1.5s and 2.5s. Is anyone a Kingdom Hearts fan?
No, it looks really cringeworthy to me.
I played some of it on PS2 back in the day.
Yeah, but can't remember a single thing about the game anymore.
Fair enough. Memorable things.
Just me and characters. It's just me and Donald Duck fighting things. It's generally awesome.
Yeah, it just always was kind of. I know I never played it. All I got from it was sort of a weird Disney take on Final Fantasy with Disney IP. I don't know.
Yeah,
Very strange kind of
that was
thing.
pretty much it.
Actually, if you look at the box art, the II.5 actually is actually how it's stylized on the box as well. That's actually what they've gone with. There you go. It's legit. It's canon.
It's good. It's good to know it's canon.
We got Fantasy Hero Unsigned Legacy for the PlayStation Vita.
I do like the art, the box art. That.
Can't tell you much about it, mind you. Hack and slash action RPG is about all we really know. Are there any particular screenshots for it? It says 3 images, but I suspect it's box art, right? Yep.
So.
Yep.
So yeah, I can tell you what the box art looks like.
Looks like Power Rangers.
It does look Power Rangers.
It's a Power Ranger fight. Oh yeah, it is. Is the monster grown yet, do we think? Or is this the stage of the Power Rangers fight where the monster dominates them in the fight, then decides to grow? Which was always such a stupid tactic.
You never grow. God damn it, that's just a stupid thing.
No, but if you stop and look at Power Rangers episodes, in the basic format, the monster comes and he pretty much beats up the Power Rangers. They explode. He's pretty much in complete control of the fight. Then, for some reason, Zed or the woman or whatever decides, you know what? This fight is going too well. Time for you to grow. Then the monster grows, and then they all summon the awesome Megatron. And then the guitar solo starts, and it's all over. And then the morons at the end do a reaction shot of, why did we fail?
That's about the shape of it. That is every episode of Power Rangers ever.
Yep.
That's good. I never need to watch another one again now.
You were planning to binge on them. You're going to have a Power
totally.
Rangers marathon.
Totally.
Where are you going to watch the Rapping Pumpkin Power Rangers episode?
What?
What?
Don't you remember this bad guy? It was the Halloween episode of Power Rangers, so naturally the bad guy was a pumpkin, but a pumpkin wouldn't just do. He was the rapping pumpkin.
Oh dear.
Wow. Wow.
And his raps, he was such a memorable bad guy, they brought him back. But because they were so damn lazy, they just used shots from him in the first episode.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow.
It was so awkward because it was after the stage where they'd changed the Power Rangers over, but they kept the original Power Rangers in. Like, why is Jason in this fight again?
That's fantastic. How is that show still? That show's still around. They're still making that, aren't they? Really? I think.
The guy who played Bulk is still in it.
Okay, I don't know who that is, so.
You know the dumb bad guys, Bulk and Skull.
I don't remember details of Power Rangers. Honestly, no.
I am disappointed in you.
But yeah, they're still like making that thing. It's like if the production quality is that bad on it, how is it still around?
Maybe it got gradually better.
It would have to. It really would.
They're in space now.
Are they? I think last I heard they went like samurai now. I think or something, or ninjas at some point.
They're probably samurai ninjas.
Possibly.
In space.
That's actually that doesn't even sound implausible. That sounds like exactly what they would do.
Anyway, next game.
Next game we have is Final Horizon, which is described as an RTS tower defense hybrid, which is kind of weird because I would have said tower defense was a variant on RTS. It grew out of the RTS genre in the first place. It was originally a mod for Warcraft 3. So I don't quite know how that one works. And they've blended a genre with the genre that spawned the genre.
Which is quite impressive when one stops to think about it.
Yeah, maybe.
I like the thumbnail. It just says "hole."
Yes.
The number 3 is them, and it'll be you.
Obviously, big fans of Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
What?
Never mind. It was a wrestling reference. Move on. I tried.
Nobody knows.
Michael, I get it, Michael. No,
Thank you, Suneil. I'm pleased one person got it.
Okay, next, because we have like no information on Final Horizon, we've got Secret Ponchos for the PS4. I think that might already be out on PC. By looks of things, I can't remember.
Yeah, it is.
I remember it was at PAX East this year, and I didn't actually stop to really particularly take a good look at it, so I'm not rightly sure much of what's going on in it.
Looks
I do remember
Mexican.
well, Ponchos probably kind of gives it away a little bit, I
Was
suspect.
it that's twin stick shooter? Well, it's like Wild Wild West kind of like shoot 'em up.
Twin stick shooter. How have I not picked up on this before? Then, god damn it!
It looks pretty
I
cool.
like twin stick shooters. Yeah, I mean,
It's like
had-
constantly dueling other people. It's like a brawl type game.
All right.
That sounds fun.
We should know it's in early access at the moment on Steam.
Oh right. I don't know if they're planning to like launch it. Are they? Because if it's out on PS4, I don't think PS4 does early access, does it? Unless PS4 started doing early access.
Yeah, it just seems to be a straight release.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing a Secret Ponchos thing on the upcoming list for Steam, so that's kind of a bit strange. Unless they've finished it on the PS4 and want to keep working on it on PC, maybe? I don't know. Could be. It's not
Possible.
out of the realms of possibility.
It's a theory. A plausible theory.
It is. We have Siberia.
Which appears to have Laura Croft on the front cover.
She doesn't look entirely dissimilar, does she? No. I'm pretty sure this has been out a while. Actually, it's been out a really long while. This has been out since 2002. Wow.
It's
Holy
on the
crap.
network for PS3. So
PlayStation Network release. Okay, so yeah, this has been around on PC. I'm pretty sure I own it. It's been in like 1,000,001 bundles. If you buy bundles of things on PC, chances are you may already own it. So yeah,
if you want it on the PS3,
if you want it on the PS3 now, you can have it. Congratulations, your life is complete.
hooray!
Next up, we have something else that was spoiled earlier on in the show. Game of Thrones, the Telltale game. Which is, they're going down their same format as the way they did The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. Now they're taking out and applying that kind of formula, the kind of quick time eventy, multiple choice kind of point and click format, modern point and click format to Game of Thrones. Which, all things considered, actually seems like that is to be honest, that does seem like the kind of thing that would work well in that formula.
Definitely. You never know who's going to die anyway, so unless you've read the books, in which case you've spoiled it for yourself.
That's you told.
Well, a little bit of me was wondering, have they kind of done their own thing with it? Because that's kind of seems to be the way they've done things in the past. I mean, The Walking Dead was not necessarily related to any of the other kind of
No.
entries within the IP, as it were, but it does say that this is based on the TV show. So
It says it starts off in season 3 and ends just before season 5 of the TV series.
oh right, oh yes, so it does.
Right.
So yeah, I suspect it's not all main characters. As you know, there'll be elements of story that probably aren't in the books.
This is obviously the same way they've done all the others. It's going to be episodic as well. Same as they must have a lot of teams working on a lot of things, because they had Tales from the Borderlands only came out last week as well, which is the same kind of thing but in Borderlands. And so yeah, it's again episodic. This is just episode 1 of 6, I believe, in this one. Yeah. The story follows 5 protagonists across 6 episodes, so there will be 5 more chunks of this game coming out over the course of the next, I don't know, year or so, I would imagine. They sort of seem to do a new episode every couple of months or so for each of the others, I think. Will, did you play The Walking Dead?
No, I didn't.
Alright, I thought you had. I was going
No.
to say, does anyone have any experience with how they deliver their stuff? Because I haven't actually played it.
No.
No,
I've never been interested enough. I kind of vaguely follow the series, but
Alright.
not really captivated by the game.
I mean, the last episodic one I got into of theirs was before they started doing this new format. It was like the last game they did in the old point-and-click genre format, which was Back to the Future. And I only picked that up after they'd released all 5 episodes anyway, so I'm not really sure how they deliver their stuff.
But so, do you make decisions does it have branching paths on different endings depending on what decisions?
That'll
that's
that'll
basically
definitely be it.
Yeah, but
Well,
basically
how do they do it per episode? Do they just carry it on to the next episode?
I think they do, yeah. I think they're
I
actually
should
pretty
hope
good
so.
about stuff. Yeah, I think decisions that you make in episode 1 will continue to affect things that happen in episode 2, 3, 4, and so on, probably. Which seems like that could get quite elaborate, but I guess they handle it pretty well. I don't know. I mean, I'm quite... Of all the things, I'm kind of tempted to take a pop at Tales from the Borderlands, to be quite honest. That does seem like a thing that would probably appeal.
Must be quite funny as well.
Yeah, it's the same kind of humour without just grinding for guns. There's also
there is a different money mechanic as well.
Oh right, yeah. There's also the Wolf Among Us, which obviously Steam sale. It was really cheap the other day, and I was like, I'm kind of tempted, but I'm never going to find the time to play these bloody things. It's just going to end up on the pile. But yeah,
Like 500.
It's past 500 for me, mate.
Goodness.
So I'm rapidly approaching 550 games on Steam.
Wow.
Yeah. We also have Dead State out on December 4th. Open world zombie survival RPG. Now,
Already out on PC.
sorry?
I've heard of this. I'm sure I've heard of this. Is this already out on PC?
Oh, it says it's launching on PC.
Alright.
Maybe it's been on early access for a while or something. Oddly enough, again, this is one that doesn't actually show up on the Steam listings, and I've seen the logo somewhere before. I have a feeling it may be something that's been in early access, to be honest.
I'm very sure it was on my wish list for a long time.
It could be. Do a quick Steam search, I suppose, try and find out. I mean, I've definitely seen that logo before. It's kind of got that road sign logo, and it's like,
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
So it says launch on PC. Whether that's launch or what, I'm not rightly sure. Dead State, huh?
Well,
It would help if I could
Yeah,
find
it's
it.
in early access right now.
Well, there you go. That would explain a lot.
Yeah, we got there.
Does it have a release date on it? Or it'll just say the
Nope.
release date of the early access, won't it? Oh well, there you go. It's apparently out according to Giant Bomb, or will be in a couple of days. We have NES Remix Pack for the Wii U, 3DS, and 3DSe. I guess that's their store, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they have a limited edition physical disc release, and then they'll have it on the store. This is... I'm not sure what this is. There's a lot of sprites of things from NES games, but it doesn't actually tell you what you're getting in that, to be honest. It says the first 2 NES Remix games are presented on a limited edition physical disc release. But no word on what that is. Does the other page say? Oh yeah, that one's a bit more. That one's a bit more forthcoming. It's got Super Mario Brothers and... So what have we got here? We've got a lot of stuff.
Come on,
I'm hoping you guys are looking at the bloody pages as well. You're not helping.
Yes.
I'm just enjoying watching you struggle.
Your Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, Legend of Zelda, Ice Climbers, Excite Bike, Donkey Kong Jr., and Balloon Fight on NES Remix.
Sounds reasonable.
It also lists the details of a NES Remix 2 below, but that's... When and where that's out, I'm not sure. That one will be Dr. Mario, Kid Icarus, Kirby's Adventure, Metroid, Punch-Out, Super Mario Bros. 2, 3, and Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. In case you're a really big NES fan, you can go pick up a bunch of NES stuff. Which, to be honest, as we're talking about digital downloads for the 3DS, I'm surprised those aren't already on there, sort of separately. They must be, surely.
Yeah, you would have
charge
thought so, wouldn't
from what I've seen on the Nintendo eStore. It's like they charge ridiculous amounts for the back catalogue stuff.
Right. Okay.
I'm guessing it'll be like full game release price. Maybe.
Right. £40 to play Zelda. Yeah.
Again, the dream.
So yeah, I guess that's probably a reasonable way if you're a big fan of NES games to pick up a bunch in bulk without going through overpriced re-releases, I guess.
I like the fact this one's got the next game's got a rating. On Giant Bomb. Next game
Oh, it's actually got a star rating, right? Yes, rated 3 stars by whom? Who knows? Oh, that's the actual. Oh, the Giant Bomb have done a review on it, so yeah, it has I guess they review some of the things on these pages. Doesn't seem like when you look back through the other ones, they review many of the things on here. But hey,
This is the first time I recall ever seeing a star rating.
Smash Brothers got one if you go up a couple of weeks. They do one game every 2 weeks on here,
okay,
basically.
right.
That's their reviews.
They decided Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was worth a review.
Absolutely. Well, I imagine this is probably one of the Wii U's more notable titles, I guess, because it involves a side character from Mario, so it must be important. This is Toad. If you're a fan of Toad, Toad has now got his own game.
He looks so happy about it on the box art.
Well, he usually looks pretty happy. He's Toad. In
That's
fact,
that's his curse.
He's just always happy.
I'm so happy all the time.
I'm really a chronic depression.
Help me.
I wish I could feel sadness.
Let me cry.
These are not tears of joy.
Well, that got dark.
That got really dark. Move on.
Binding advisor clear.
Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker is a standalone puzzle game based on the Captain Toad levels in Super Mario 3D World. I have not played that one, so I'm not familiar with those, but I guess
If you are, it's for you.
if you liked those levels, there's now a spin-off game based entirely around those levels. Have fun. It's got 3 out of 5 stars on Giant Bomb.
A weird concept for a game, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I've seen. If you think about other things, other stuff, kind of, you do get spin-offs that are like so popular. I mean, Geometry Wars. If you to go back to something we actually talked about last week, Geometry Wars was originally a mini game within a racing game. That you had to, in your garage, there was just like an arcade machine. You could go up to it and play Geometry Wars, and then everyone was like, "Geometry Wars is so good," and then they just released it as an entirely separate game, and it's now a series that has 3 entries in it.
It's not going to go on sale anytime soon.
What? Sorry.
The newest release.
The newest release has only been out about 5 days.
If you say it's 50% off on Steam.
Oh, cool.
Sorry, what? Which one? Sorry.
Hmm?
Did you say so? Did you say it was 50% off on Steam? What?
Yeah, it's only been out on 5 days, so obviously it's already on the sale.
Oh right, yeah, probably. Retro Evolved is £3 on Steam at the minute, but yes, 3 Dimensions is still £12. I didn't actually buy that. I probably should buy that. I don't know. I've got too much crap to play. Anyway,
It's your game, though.
It is my game. It is very much my game, but I also have many things that are my game.
Wait, isn't your game Ultimate NES Remix? 3DS and the 3DSe?
Yeah, about that.
Wait, what?
Let's move on to some Steam releases.
Doesn't that get a mention?
We did that!
Oh, did we?
Oh, Ultimate... Yeah, there's an NES Remix pack and Ultimate NES Remix. I kind of bundled them both together. Ultimate NES Remix was the pack of like 7 or 8 games. NES Remix was just like, I guess, Mario and Zelda by the looks of things or something. I'm not sure. It's not really forthcoming on what you actually get in that one. It's just that's the physical edition with 2 games on it, whereas the digital edition has got like 8 games on it.
I apologise for the confusion. I clearly wasn't paying attention.
Yes, wake up.
Sorry.
Anyway, yes, Steam releases. Does that get a
Just look
jingle?
at the first one. Oh, look, the hissing noise.
Well, I'd prefer it if you came up with a better jingle than the hissing noise, but
know.
if you must.
No.
Jeez. Steam.
That just sounded creepy, I'm sorry. Sounded sexually menacing, I'm really sorry about that.
Anyway, moving on. Cargo 3 is a climatic game? What is a climatic game? Climatic game set in science fiction horror world.
It's intense. Has a good climax. Maybe someone's climbing.
No, not climactic, climatic.
Oh.
C-L-I-M-A-T-I-C.
I guess you have to climb things.
I'm guessing these guys probably English wasn't their first language. So I say Cargo 3 is a climatic game set in science fiction horror world. Which almost implies that is the name of the world. The name of this world is Science Fiction Horror World. Hello and welcome to Science Fiction Horror World.
I would live there.
They've probably got some affordable San Francisco rents.
Yes.
By the script right.
So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. It seems like they're probably science fiction-y and horror-y. It's probably Will's kind of thing. It's probably not my kind of thing.
Hang on. Yeah, that's
Something-
my kind of thing.
Something about spaceships and zombies.
That's totally my thing.
And
Does
beating
sound like-
them with a pipe wrench. There's also a minigun by the looks of things. So, yeah. That's killing zombies on a spaceship. Have fun with that. It's not my thing. Reverse Side. We've mentioned twice before and it's popped up again. So, they get another shout out for reasons unbeknownst. I guess this has been pushed back again, but given that it's been pushed back to, at this point, today, I hope it's actually out. If I click on their page, is that going to say, out in 2 weeks' time? Yeah, it does!
Reverse Side may or may not be released.
If you look on the upcoming page, as of, I guess, 2 hours ago, it said, Reverse Side, 1st of December 2014. If you click on the page, now it says, this game will unlock in 3 weeks, 1 day and 9 hours, release date 23rd of December. We'll see you in 3 weeks for that one again.
Yeah, and then we'll see you next year for that.
And then it'll fall back another 3 weeks. We have
Coming summer 2015.
Yeah. We have Magnifico, which is a popular region-based board game where the ultimate goal is to dominate 16th century Europe.
Because who wouldn't want to dominate 16th century Europe?
And it seems like the tech tree of this strategy kind of thing is the works of Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
So you can... This also ties into... You mentioned Da Vinci earlier.
Did I?
So someone... Did you not?
I
Someone
did.
mentioned Da Vinci.
I did.
You mentioned Da Vinci. Yes, that was it. There we go. So, see, we've got elaborately themed shows. This theme of this week is Da Vinci.
It's a shame he was so stupid.
So, yeah, using his spaceships and whatnot, you can conquer Europe, basically. That is about the shape. It may not be spaceships specifically, but that is about the shape of it.
Pepper.
With his deadly ice cream maker.
So yeah, that's kind of weird. It looks very strategy-ish, maybe like, I don't know, Risk or Civ or something. But it's also presented in very much a board game format. I did have a quick glance at the publisher, Slytherin Limited. It seems like all their stuff is like historical. If you go through their catalogue, every single game they do, they've done loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff, and every single one of it is some sort of history or alt history kind of thing. So seems to be their kind of deal. It seems to be very, very niche things, but I get the impression it's kind of people who are into that niche would really like that. They also did Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon, which we looked at last week, which was
yeah.
the
Yeah,
Hex-
I wasn't entirely enthralled by that.
Well, I watched Total Biscuit's critique of that earlier in the week, and it's like, I think the main selling point of that game is just how in depth it goes with units. It's just like every single possible variant of a Warhammer 40k tank that you could possibly hope to have in a game is available in this game for strategy purposes, and they're all very, very, very subtly different from each other in whatever ways. So I think
Fair enough, but all that information is already pre-existing within the board game, so it's not like they're doing anything majorly inventive.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Is that people who are really into 40k will probably really appreciate that in a game. People who are not into 40k won't give a crap. What I'm saying is this is a niche for people who very specifically want a very specific product, and I think it seems like a lot of the products from this publisher probably fall into the same category. And Magnifico may well be one of them. We have Game of Thrones. We already touched on that one, though. We have The Old City, Leviathan.
I really want to play this one.
Which one is this one?
Old City.
All right. Yeah, I know the name of it. I couldn't remember what the game was off the top of my head.
Oh, it just looks really atmospheric.
Experimented first-person exploration that focuses on story. Sounds kind of interesting. Yeah, probably wouldn't mind taking a look at that myself, actually. Looks kind of nice.
It looks pretty.
It seems like it's one of those ones that a lot of people are probably going to call not a game, I suspect. But at the same time, that's the kind of shit that I like. So hey,
Yeah.
I like not games, and that's a sentence that makes sense. Trust me. We have Lumino City, which is a sequel to the award-winning game Lume. which is a... It looks like a game made by Blue Peter. It's kind of got this cardboard cutout kind of thing, and everything looks like it's been made out of plastic bottles and cardboard boxes and matchsticks, if you know what I mean.
Art Attack kind of do.
Looks like a game on PS.
It's not Tracy Island, but it's good.
It's not what island, sorry?
Tracy Island.
Tracy
Oh,
Island.
right, yeah.
You think Sackboy would be in it?
Yeah,
It does look
like
very-
Sackboy could be in it, yeah. This is a puzzle game of some sort that looks, a lot like something from Little Big Planet. We also have, my browser's being slow. What else do we have? We have One Quest. You had one quest. It's a roguelike, challenging turn-based RPG with high replay value. So it goes. I think I did look at this some point last week, actually, when I was browsing through the Steam store. It, as far as I can make out, doesn't look anything drastically revelatory. It just looks like it's a roguelike. And, well, there's lots of those these days.
Just one or two.
It's just, take turns to attack things, move around a square grid, and take turns trading blows, and try not to die. Things are going to be randomized. And there's been a bunch of stuff like that in the last few months. Roguelikes are obviously a dime a dozen these days, and the ones that are... I think these ones are kind of more traditional roguelike format. I think the original Rogue and roguelikes were kind of this grid-based, kind of turn-based formats, so I think there's a few games sort of treading that kind of territory, and this looks like it may well be more of the same. If you're a big fan of it, a fan of roguelikes, you might want to have a quick look-see at it, but I'm not convinced it's necessarily going to be anything groundbreaking. Next one's kind of a weird one.
I'm not sure I can even bear to look at this one. It looks awful.
The game looks awful. If you haven't watched the trailer, not the trainer. If you watch the trailer, I would recommend watching the trailer. The trailer's fantastic. But the game doesn't look especially compelling. It kind of seems to be... It's got this really low-res style. It kind of seems like they're going for potentially elements of Super Meat Boy, or sort of fast-paced, reflex-driven platforming stuff. And then it's also got some slightly silly... I'm not even sure what they're going for. I don't know what you'd call it. Slightly absurd kind of dialogue and narrative, and if there is any such thing in there. Kind of weird. I would recommend watching the trailer. The trailer's quite amusing. I got a few chuckles out of the trailer. They've kind of presented it in this almost documentary format, and it's really weird and quite amusing.
Alright, I might check it out after this.
I'm gonna have to check this out now.
Yeah, the trailer's well worth a look, but I don't know if the game's going to be especially compelling. Next up, we have a game I probably wouldn't normally take a look at, because it's early access, but I feel like it's probably going to be one of those games that's worth noting because of what it is.
I'm gonna
This looks amazing.
I might have to just stop you for a minute. I don't think you said the name of the last game.
The name of the last game? Oh, did we ever even mention it? Oh, Potato Man Seeks the Truth. Sorry. I can't believe it. Oh, wow. Well done. Potato Man Seeks the Truth, yes, is truth spelled Troof.
Because that's hilarious.
It is laughing.
The next one.
The next one is I Am Bread,
Looks hilarious. I love it.
which is it's Bossa Studios, who are the same guys who made Surgeon Simulator. Yeah, this is their bread simulator, I guess.
It sounds like such a stupid idea.
Well, yeah.
You say that?
It's you do realize every YouTuber in the world is going to play this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Starting with PewDiePie. It is early access, so it's not actually finished, but yes, basically this appears to be entirely controlled with the bumpers and triggers on a gamepad. Presumably there is a keyboard equivalent, and using that you can control the four corners of a piece of bread to walk it around the room and try and acquire food and toast oneself in various methods using things found around the home, and trying to make yourself toasty for someone to eat, and toasty and delicious to be eaten.
So you're basically torturing yourself.
You bet you fall butter side down when you got butter on you.
I hope that's a mechanic. I really do.
I hope
It kind of falls in the vein of Octodad, I think.
It is. It's the same kind of silly thing. It's like I say. It's from the guys who made Surgeon Simulator.
There better be a thing where
Expect
it gets
physics.
into the toast. It gets into the toaster and it just plugs itself in and goes, "Oh, this is what? This is too. Why?"
Can bread feel pain? I'm not sure it can.
Well, bread can't walk either. But
Does bread have a central nervous system?
It looks like it might get soggy.
I think that's an option. I think you probably can get soggy bread. I suspect that probably doesn't help you. I mean, if you look at the screenshots, it's got like a meter in the top corner that I think starts at 100%. It's edibility, and I think as you probably get soggy and do things, that'll just deplete over time. If you hit 0, I presume you become inedible and you fail a level.
I may be guessing, but I imagine if you become wet, that gives you the ability to flop up walls, maybe? Is that what I'm getting from the trailer?
Oh, maybe. I figured they just had some weird physics going on where it was just fairly adhesive bread anyway.
Because all bread is naturally adhesive.
Yeah. Bread typically can't walk, if you really want to note that one, you know.
It doesn't have a skeleton.
If we're striving for realism in I Am Bread, bread typically doesn't have too much mobility. So, I've no idea what the mechanics are, but I'm sure all of YouTube will be happy to inform you of that come December 3rd. So I just figured with what's likely to become of that, people probably worth noting.
I'm going to be so broke this month.
We have Myths of Orion. Which honestly, I can't remember whether I took much. I don't think I took much of a look at this, so I'm not sure what this is. Is this is this Hidden Object Game? This is Hidden Object Game, isn't it? Yep, that's Hidden Object Game. If you like finding things, here's an option to go find things.
Where's Waldo?
Probably about all there is to say for it. Sorry?
Where's Waldo equivalent?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of them out there, and they're not without their charm. I played a few, they're fairly entertaining, they kill some time, but it's a very, very, very casual thing. There's like, if you like them, you like them. I don't think it's not really going to appeal to Call of Duty crowd. We have the next one is one that I thought, it sounds like it's a parody of something. It seems like it's going to be a silly game taking the piss out of other games, but I don't think it is. It's Skill Tree Saga, which is part of the Dark Eye universe, which is not one I'm particularly au fait with. I know there's quite a lot of games out there within that particular IP, as it were, but I'm not particularly up on many of them. This is I don't know what this is. Is this?
It's in the description.
What's the description?
Skill Tree Saga is the first roguelike RPG in Aventurian, the world of the Dark Eye. So what a
I
name!
don't get it. Aventurian. Sure, they picked a weird name.
That's like very original name.
Yeah. I'm not sure I get it, but okay.
Moving swiftly on.
Think of it. I know.
Moving swiftly on, what I was thinking is Skill Tree Saga sounds like it's a game that's going to take the piss out of the mechanics. It sounds like it's going to be a game that's entirely about micromanaging skill trees or something for some reason. Just to as a parody of that particular mechanic within games. But no, it genuinely looks like it's fairly serious. It genuinely looks like there's actually a game that they're trying to take seriously there, so I'm not sure what to make of it.
This is one of those wait and sees.
Sounds like a joke, but I'm not quite convinced it is. Anyway, moving on, we have... Ooh, what have we got? We have got... Myths of Orion. Did we do Myths of Orion?
Yeah.
Alright. Have I lost one from this page? Someone's deleted one from my page and you're throwing me off.
No.
Well done. Who deleted? Club Manager 2015.
Michael will be interesting.
Which is one for Michael, yes.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've never told you about my secret passion of managing a club, have I?
I don't think you've ever mentioned that.
Well, now you know.
So you'll be taking this opportunity to live out your dreams, no doubt.
I'll be living it up in the club.
It's different. It's different to Premier Manager.
Oh,
The same thing.
I get the impression this one's maybe a little bit more fictional. It seems more like fantasy football kind of thing. It seems like you can just make shit up and pretend it's real, whereas I think Michael's playing stuff that's a bit more grounded in realism. I don't know, though.
yeah. I think that's a fair assessment.
I don't know a lot about this, so that's what my first impression from what I've seen here.
I think let's move on to the eloquently named game underneath.
Bombing Bastards. Have you seen what this is?
Bomberman.
It is exactly Bomberman. There's nothing else other than that. It's just Bomberman as far as I can make out.
HD.
It's Bomberman with a shiny coat of paint for the modern era, I guess, yes, but the mechanics are literally Bomberman.
I liked playing it in Spiral Knights, the last network.
You're breaking up a little bit, sorry.
Sorry, yeah, it looks like same kind of Spiral Knights Blast network kind of deal.
This is true, yeah. I mean, if you want to play Bomberman, there is a perfectly viable free version within a free-to-play MMO called Spiral Knights, which is totally accessible to for anyone the moment they start up the game, pretty much.
Yeah, but nobody plays Blast Network, though.
Well, they should, because it's awesome.
I know, it's ace.
So, rather than spending money on Bombing Bastards, you could go and play it for free in Spiral Knights and drive people towards that awesome little MMO. Just a recommendation. Sorry, Bombing
spread
Bastards.
the word, because it's ace and nobody plays it.
Oh dear.
I used to play it.
We also have Ultra World.
Awkwardness.
Yes, awkward indeed. That's why I moved on.
Ultra World. Tell us about Ultra World.
Ultra World looks totally like my kind of thing. You know how you were on about the old city? It's like old city but trippy. It's just it's a relaxing first-person explorer.
I could probably play this for a while, but I don't see it being an extensive experience.
No, probably not. It probably doesn't have a whole lot of life behind it, but it depends how long it is. It may just be like a couple of hours long, and if so, that's cool, that's grand, that's whatever. As long as they don't try to drag it out. Yeah, it looks pretty pretty. It's, kind of reminds me a lot, maybe a little bit less abstract, but of Proteus. Proteus kind of had this thing kind of going on, but that was like a really, really super abstract one. This one, they've kind of actually got stuff that actually looks like stuff.
They've got stuff that looks like stuff.
Stuff that looks... Well, Proteus just had lots of sort of vague shapes, and you kind of just had to try and infer what they were trying for it to be, and it was very, very interpretive. Here you can look at something and say, yes, that's a wheel, yes, that's a tree, yes, that's a bridge. You can see what they're going for here. It's a very similar kind of sort of simplistic colour style, but at the same time you've actually got a world that actually has things that are recognisable and interesting to explore. I would very much like to take a look at this, actually, to be honest. And that kind of brings us to the end of the games. That is the games for the week. So, do you want to take us out?
Well, I usually do, so why the hell not? Thank you very much for listening to the Butter Mash podcast. We appreciate all interest that we get in it. If you want to find out more about Butter Mash and our little organisation, you can follow us at Facebook at
facebook.com/buttonmash.
And you can follow us on Twitter at
twitter.com/button_mash_UK.
You can find us on Steam at
bit.ly/bmsteam.
And you can check out our website at
button-mash.net.
If you want to watch some YouTube videos done by our resident Captain John, you can find that at
youtube.com/buttonmashempire.
And if for some bizarre reason you lose complete control of your senses and want to give him money for playing YouTube videos, you can follow his Patreon at
patreon.com/buttonmash.
Yep, and thank you very much for listening. I think I've covered that over there.
I think you got them all. I think you got the important salient points.
Gotta catch 'em all. Or gotta list them all.
Got to catch them all. Segways.
And that was the lesser known new, like, 6th edition Pokemon Segways. Right, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. So, on behalf of myself and on behalf of John,
Thank you.
on behalf of Will,
Thank you.
and on behalf of Suneil,
Thank you.
this has been the Button Mash Podcast, and we will see you as always next week. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Everybody.